Well, if there's one person watching, type something and see if it comes up, please. It's kind of like my whole StreamYard thing froze up. I don't know why, but it did. Hey, there it is. Reversal jerk. Thank you, sir. I have no idea. The other one just froze up. Maybe I had it on there too long or something. I don't know what the deal was. It just quit. Didn't want to load up at all. Hey, Mag, what's up? Rick Menzel, Happy New Year, buddy. Happy New Year to you, too. Hope you had a good one. Everything was safe and went good. Try to get some stuff set up here. No, hopefully this one works. The other one, I don't know, it just froze up. Had to kick off that one and go back to a different one. See if it would help. We're going to be tying some super little jigs tonight. Some little small bluegill jigs. 1/100th of an ounce. Ain't going to leave me much room for doing anything. Yeah, I can see it now. I don't know. I think the other one, I set it up at like 6 o'clock and just kind of walked away from it. And I really think it just glitched out or something that happened, just froze up. Nothing would show up. Even hitting the stuff on the side wasn't working. Ronnie Harris, good evening, buddy. How are you? I hate to do that, start a stream and then walk away from it. But I don't think I had any option on that one. I don't think it was anything I'd done. I think it was just loading weird or loaded weird or I had it loaded too long or something. I don't know. It's working now. So how was everybody's New Year? Y'all have a good one? Everything go good? I ain't sure if this is actually the body material I want in this, but we're going to give it a try to start out with. If I can get it open. Somebody gave me some really small Chanel. I'd call it a new old stock. It's pretty neat. I've never seen it in a store anywhere. I don't know where it came from. This stuff might even be 10, 15, 20 years old, but it's a really thin, small Chanel, and I'm pretty sure it's got more to do with tying flies than it does bluegill or crappie jigs. I'm not even really sure I'm going to like it. I don't know. I think wiggly worms work good. Like if you're tying something really small, I think it would work good in really small bluegill jigs or even trout jigs. It's kind of cool. It's got a cool look to it. I would definitely, if I had it, I would try it. I mean, there's no doubt I would definitely give it a try. I haven't seen very many materials that I wouldn't tie with. There's some that make it really hard for these type of baits. Trying to think offhand. Rabbit's hard to tie with. It's hard to do anything with for me. But I think that wiggly worm is pretty cool looking material, and I've looked at it and tried to figure out how to get it to fit into what I do. But it's a little bit small. That's a little bitty old jig right there. 1.25 inches. Those make good little bluegill baits. 1/100th of an ounce. A whole jig from head to hook is just a little bit longer. About 3/4 of an inch long. It makes about 1.25 inches with that tail on it. I don't tie enough bluegill baits, and we're going to fix that this year. I'm going to start tying a lot more of those. And we're going to do some of these with just some hackle, some silver hackle, and some UV resin on the neck. I want to take some of these with me tomorrow. I kind of got stuck in that UV resin stuff. I like the way that resin neck turns out, like the way the jigs turn out. Got a really smooth, different kind of appearance. And Kelly Bullock says he tried it. It looks good, but just don't know how to work. I think it would work. Did you do the whole body in it, or did you just do like a little tail with it? Two-tang lore. Good evening. And we're going to be using just some silver hackle. Just a couple pieces of that. I'll probably put in a little bit of flash. Kelly, do you get to fish much in the wintertime? I got notifications coming up. People are messaging that other one. I should have deleted that before I started this one, but they'll find it, I think. Well, there is Fishing with Frito. Good evening, buddy. How you been? Man, you used to be on here a lot. There was a good crowd back then. Still staying busy at work. They keeping you from tying jigs. Winter is my busiest time of pretzel season. Wintertime. I went and picked these jig heads up from Jason on the way home, and he was putting his boat back in the garage, and he had caught some today. That's what I said too, Mark Williams. Oh, Frito. What's the littlest jig y'all have ever tied with? Have you ever tied with anything smaller than 1/100th of an ounce? He said he used to do some other small ones that were smaller than this. I couldn't imagine going much smaller than this. Pretty amazing how fast you can kill a day just sitting there tying jigs, ain't it? Experimenting with different stuff, different materials. You can let a whole day get past you if you ain't careful. I used to do that a lot. Whole lot. Start tying jigs early in the morning, and before you knew it seemed like the sun was going down. It's relaxing. Size 8 fly hook. I got some of those back here. I was tying some of those. Same thing, experimenting with stuff. I don't know if I still got that little jig up here or not. A little bitty super fly. I watched somebody tie one on YouTube and stopped it and tried to copy it, and it came out all right. It didn't look too bad. Jim, what'd you order? Did you get something cool? Did you get some of those Texas minnow heads, or did you get freestyle heads? I'm trying to talk him into getting hatchet head mode. I bet here before too long he'll probably get it. Enough people call him and bug him about it, he'll end up getting it. I guarantee you that. I'm telling y'all, if y'all ever seen his shop, it's pretty crazy. Texas minnow, you like those Texas minnows. He does the best job on those than anybody I've ever seen. There's a lot of guys out there that sell that Texas minnow, but when you're looking for a good one, he's the one you want to get it from. That has got one of the coolest looks to it ever, because no matter which way you turn that jig head, you can see those eyes. Oversize the eyes just a little bit when you put them in, and you'll see what I'm talking about. No matter which way you turn that jig head, you can see those eyes of fish. You know, I was trying to go with like a really shiny eye to put inside those. And I was hoping that, like a fish looking at it from underneath, coming up at it, would be able to see that sparkle off to the sides of them. Where the hell is Fur Chaser? Just getting back in the jig time in 25 years before YouTube. Well, glad to see you got back into it. I got my moments sometimes when I do not want to see another crappie jig. I don't want to see another jig head. I don't want to see a feather. And sometimes I got to walk away from it for a little while. Always end up back doing it, though, for sure. I don't know if it's anything I would ever be able to give up unless I got to the point where I absolutely couldn't do it. But, yeah, you'll like those Texas minnow heads. He does a good job on them. That's where I said that. That's what triggered that conversation. Yeah, he was cleaning some fish. He was getting ready to clean some fish when I got there today to pick these jig heads up. But you name it, he's got it. And if he ain't got it, he can usually get it. All my powder paint comes from Jason. All my jig heads come 99.9% of all my jig heads come from him. Travis Williams, good evening in Tennessee. How's the fishing in Tennessee right now? Have you been? A lot of good lakes in Tennessee. What size hook is that on the 100th ounce? I can't remember what size he told me he put in that, to tell you the truth, but it's a really heavy hook. He actually said he was done with Eagle Claw, and he went with these, and they have got a really thick, rigid-looking frame. I want to say these are number 8s. I'm pretty sure number 8s. Frito, I appreciate it, man. I like watching you tie too. I used to try to catch all your lives when you were on, all your videos and all that. That was back in COVID times, man. Everybody was selling jigs during COVID. That's where I got started at, was during COVID shutdown. It seemed like I bet I sold more crappie jigs during that COVID shutdown than, I don't know, just all them places shut their doors and all that stuff and laid people off work and everybody was at home. It seemed like everybody was home watching YouTube. I don't say it was fun times, but there's a lot of jigs being sold at that time. I'll get rid of this thread. I don't know. Like I said, this is a bunch of new old stock somebody gave me, and that thread is horrible. It's like the worst stuff I've ever tied with. Some of that fly tying stuff is hard to use for what we do with bigger size jigs, even the smaller of the big bluegill jigs. A lot of it's just not made to do some of that. Man, it's still up in air. If I start up again, I guess we'll just see rebuilding old Cajun Center console right now. Travis Williams went to Douglas Lake 2 weeks ago, caught a few small crappie. Water temperature is 41. That's about exactly what it is here. So we're going to go with this orange thread. I don't know what that was, but that is like super, super thin. 8/0. So this silver one's going to have an orange neck on it. It's going to be unique, one of a kind. You going to do any videos while you're rebuilding that boat? Upload anything? Shows what you got going on? You still use those outlaw rods? I had somebody message me today on Facebook, wanted to know why I was only doing Facebook auctions to sell my jigs. You know, And I was just getting ready to say that I had somebody message me today and asked why the only reason I was selling jigs was, or the only way I was selling jigs was through Facebook auctions and in small groups instead of like I used to. I used to take orders. I used to get orders for 200, 300 jigs. I'd take another order right behind it for 150 jigs. And it was a little bit easier to stay caught up with doing all that when I was working second shift. I'd get up in the morning and I'd start tying. My wife was working, so I had roughly about 4 hours every day to tie jigs. And I had plenty of time to get to the post office. On my way to work, I'd stop at the post office, drop all that stuff off, and go to work. Working first shift, I barely making home on time to catch the post office while they're still open. And I don't really know, being home at nights, how much time I'm actually going to have to tie every week. So last weekend, being it was a 4-day weekend, and the weekend before that, we had a 4-day weekend, I had a lot of time to tie more stuff up. I could sit down here and just tie it up and broke it down into groups of 6, 8 jigs and auctioned them off on Facebook. I didn't auction them off on Facebook to try to make a killing or get as much money out of them as I could. I was just easier to sell them that way. I still do orders, but I don't think I'll ever get back into doing big orders like I used to. But it kind of depends. I mean, you never know. And Travis, anytime y'all ask a question on Facebook or YouTube, I always try to get back to everybody. Some of them I don't have a chance to get back to right away, but eventually I'll run across that again, and I will answer most questions that I see. And a good friend had a Busdale's angel hair back in the 80s. Every shop had his jigs. Busdale's. I don't know if a lot of places local carry a lot of local guys that are around there pretty close, stuff like that. So that name don't sound familiar. It wouldn't surprise me if I probably seen them somewhere. But to answer that guy's question and it might have been on here, it might have been on YouTube. It's hard to keep up with big orders like that now and not making people mad. It could take me 3 days to do an order of 100 jigs. It could take me a week. It could take me 2. Just kind of depends on my schedule and what's going on. So instead of making somebody mad, where's my order? I'd rather just tie a bunch up and then sell what I had tied up. Rito said that is the plan. My buddy and I are taking video of the progress. I'll see if I can edit it for later. Definitely still love my outlaw rods. Good deal. Who's the leader of my jig giveaway? The one on YouTube, I don't know. Usually I let my son, my wife, they kind of go through it and find the names that's the most catchiest. So I don't know. And I'll be doing that. I'll announce that tomorrow when I get home. When I get off work, I'm going to the radio station. And after I get done with the radio station, I'll come home and I'll take care of that. And I'll tie up some more jigs. I'll have some more jigs on auction probably sometime this weekend, I'm pretty sure. And he said he's from Iowa. Where you at in Iowa? I used to live up there for a while. Lived up there for 10 years. This one, we're going to try to put some Chanel in the body. Brian's on the other one. I still got people commenting on that first feed. I should have deleted it. Randy Schaefer missed it too. The lighting down there is horrible, but it's pink head. We're going to put just a couple of chartreuse feathers in it. They're not really coming out. I should have got some different material to put in these. I don't really like how they're coming out. I put a video up last night on YouTube of what I spent at Bass Pro yesterday. And obviously YouTube did not like it because I had the red copyright symbol up. So I kind of disputed it. I I put the same video up on TikTok. TikTok never even pushed it at all. It never even got released from TikTok. So they must have known I was going to make Bass Pro or somebody mad. Steve, I am tying a 1/100th of an ounce. But they must have thought it was going to make Bass Pro mad because TikTok wouldn't even post it. I don't really know what the deal was with it other than I showed the receipt from Bass Pro Shop. Anybody got much idea with that? Because I really didn't think that was all that bad. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's not what it was. Maybe it was something else. I ain't sure. This one's going to be cool. I don't know where this Chanel came from, or I don't even know where to get it, but it is pretty cool. I like those. The way it sparkles is pretty neat. It'll be one of those things when I run out of it, I'll never be able to find it ever again because a friend gave it to me. Bags and bags of it. Well, must have pulled it tight enough because we snapped that thread off. Can't really see it. The lighting in here is just horrible, but it's pretty good. It's not bad. I like it. Floyd just got here. He's running late. No, Floyd ain't running late. I had it all jacked up on the other channel or on the first live feed, so started another one. Thank you, Frito. If you guys don't mind, please hit that like button. Keeps things moving, keeps YouTube putting me up. If it wasn't for that like button, nobody would have a YouTube channel. That's the truth. I did give, that's what I said too, Jim. I gave him a good review. The only thing I could think was I showed the receipt and it did something. I don't know. YouTube didn't say they weren't going to monetize it. It just said very limited ad suitability. So what that meant was nobody was going to run their ads on that video. There was going to be no money made on that video, which, I mean, it would have been very, very little anyway. But, yeah, I don't know. But for TikTok not to post it, they had to see something in it that I did not. When I first seen that it got hit like that, I went back and I rewatched the whole video. I thought maybe I might have accidentally dropped the F-bomb or something like that. I went all the way back through it. I didn't see nothing. I couldn't find nothing. I didn't hear nothing. So I don't know. And for TikTok not to post it, there must have been some kind of big no-no there. Do videos inside Bass Pro, bashing them from the inside. And like you said, I thought I'd done them pretty good. I mean, the price of their material was kind of high, but so was everybody else's. But you were getting a very good quality material from them. I had no intentions on bashing Bass Pro, but maybe they thought I was going to. I have no idea. And BFE says he has a lot of 164 tube head jigs I poured years ago. I may have to attempt to tie them for bluegill. Those make pretty cool looking little bluegill jigs. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about kind of like the long, slendered ones that were made to be pushed up inside of a tube jig. I ran across some of those the other day when my dad died. I got all of his tackle, and he still had some in there. I hadn't seen those for years. I don't even know if you could even buy those anywhere anymore, Walmart or something like that. I don't know if I don't know when the last time I've seen those on the shelf anywhere were. And maybe you can too, because I don't. Man, I just knocked like 5 jig heads off on the floor. I don't really look for jig heads that much in the store anymore. So, I mean, maybe they still are. Yep, Randy, we are live. Honestly, live. The first one I had to ditch. It locked up or something like that. But yes, Randy, we are live right now. I apologize. I should have deleted that other one before I got this one going. But I will delete it when I get off this one, just so that way people get on there and comment on it, stuff like that. Yeah, I haven't seen them for a long time. My dad loved those. And it make total sense on why to use that. You know, you were using the whole entire tube jig in that color, but they just kind of disappeared. People quit using them. So I don't know what happened to those. But yeah, you can take your whole tube jig was your head color when using that jig head. Spit on a little bit, shove that jig head up through there, pop the eye out through the tube. Yeah, we used a lot of those for a long time. Man, I got so many people comment on that first one. I feel bad. Kind of makes you feel like you done something wrong. You set somebody up for something. I think next time I ain't going to load this up quite as early as what I did because I think that might have had something to do with it. Maybe. So anybody got any big plans for the weekend? Any good fishing? Any good fishing going on this weekend anywhere near you? I don't see my boat going out for a while. I think it's supposed to be really cold this weekend. And I think we got a big snowstorm they're calling for coming up here pretty soon. I'm going to delete that video because I feel like everybody's getting spammed into something. When that went off, I probably should have just hung it up for the night. Crazy. Slow Monday and Tuesday. Cold and chance for snow here in southeast Kansas. Cold and rainy here this weekend. I think it's going to be, well, I know it's supposed to be cold. And I'm pretty sure after this following week, I would bet we're probably going to have a little bit of ice on the lakes. Man, I wish. Frito says, man, I wish. Grand and honeydews, this is the longest I've gone without being on water. It kind of has for me, too, to tell you the truth. And we got it. Video deleted. I'm liking how those come out. Those are pretty cool. It's like a miniature one of the rest of the ones I tied with Chanel. Glenn's Outdoors calling for bad weather next Tuesday. Yeah, I seen that. People were already starting to talk about it. Some kind of big snowstorm coming, like on Tuesday or something like that. I think there was a chance for snow one day this weekend. Kind of seems like it. Now, I don't know if I was off work and, like a Saturday or Sunday, I don't mind the snow so much. But when it's coming through the week and you got to deal with the traffic and getting to work and getting everything cleaned off your truck, that's when I don't care much for the snow. I could do without it. I could definitely do without the snow. Actually, if it's a nasty weekend, I might do another live this Saturday or Sunday or something like that. Maybe just get on here and tie because I jacked this one all up. Or StreamYard jacked it up. Don't know what happened. If you never tied with a super small jig, give it a try. It's not as hard as what I thought. I was actually expecting that to be a lot worse than what it was. And he got them out of his pocket and gave it to me. And I was like, man, those are little. But the more I start tying with them, actually, they're not very hard. So we might do I got 100 of them, so we might do some pretty cool bluegill jigs this weekend. I'll see what I can come up with and tie something. Try to come up with some kind of really cool combo to make some good bluegill jigs with. Lynn's Outdoors, people in Springfield can't drive, period. People that get on Highway 13 can't drive, period. But yeah, you're right. Traffic gets all jacked up. That last week, one day, the roads weren't. They might have been slick in the middle of the night or something like that, but somebody had a wreck on 13, and you could see their tire tracks all through the ditch, and then right on the other side of the ditch, they left the whole entire front clip. The bumpers land right there in the middle of the road, in the median. I like to find a good bluegill hole. Seemed like the lakes around here that did have the bluegill got so many musky in them now, it's hard for the bluegill to get anywhere, or they just stay hidden so well it's hard for anybody to find. But we will do a winner tomorrow for that name this jig contest on YouTube. So if you haven't entered in it, go to my YouTube shorts, enter a name, something that's pretty cool for that jig, and I'll send them to you. I have 4 left over from an order that I was going to put in my box, but I'm just going to give them away instead. And we're going to tie one more here, and I'm probably going to call it a night. The only small ones I've got that, are these that I just got are 1/100th of an ounce. Everything after that is 1/64, 1/32, and then 16ths, just, depending. The one, I don't know, I would use that. I would definitely use that underneath the float fishing for bluegill. That's not so light that I would not want to use it. My favorite out of all of mine that I got are the 1/64s. That's what I would probably fish with if I was bluegill fishing a lot. That would be the jig I would use. Man, I haven't cooked a bluegill in so long. They had I don't know. People can say what they want, but I think bluegill tastes better than crappie. I've always said that. I think they got a more natural fish kind of flavor to them. I've always thought bluegill were better than crappie. Very, very few fish are better than that. A walleye, maybe. But you can't really beat bluegill. Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Randy. I still think they probably beat bluegill. Or beat crappie, I mean. When I was a kid, me and Dad would hammer bluegill, big bluegill. That was the main thing on his list was bluegill and shell crackers. That's what we chased all the time. Caught a lot of them. And like I said, I think Table Rock's got some good ones. Lake of the Ozarks, we was up there fishing a crappie tournament, and me and Zach caught a couple of pretty good ones up there. Sauger, I agree with you there, BFE. Sauger, I always forget about Sauger. I seen somebody on YouTube the other day fishing down on the Ohio River in Louisville, Kentucky, down where we used to fish at. And you might be right. Sauger might have them all beat. White bass, I like white bass if they come out of really cold water. This time of year when they're coming out of water that's 40 degrees, I think they taste their best. I don't really care for them that much in the summertime. I don't mind. We eat white bass. I mean, we don't throw them back. But white bass to me is a lot better coming out of really cold, icy cold kind of water conditions. early spring, James River. I've never fished down there on James River. Palm de Terre got some, the last 3 or 4 years, it got some excellent sized white bass. Really nice, healthy white bass. The last couple of years, I've caught bigger white bass out of Palmy than I've probably ever caught. They just been really good size. The ones we caught out of Stockton, they were the same way too. They were just nice, big, healthy white bass. Get some good fillets off white bass. But I'm more of a fan of them out of cold water versus summertime. I think a lot of people Frito wrap their Chanel opposite of how I wrap mine. Let's see, let's see if we can figure out how I do it. Because I think I reverse it back on top of each other. R&H jigs, catfish soaked with a little bit of Sprite and fluffy batter. I don't know if I've ever heard of doing it with the Sprite, but I would try that. Another pretty cool way to cook them, especially crappie, is we would take barbecue Fritos, put them in a bag, smash them up real good, dip them in milk and egg, and then roll them in those smashed up barbecue Fritos. That comes out good. I wouldn't mind getting some white bass. I don't know where they're at right now. I don't know how far up the lake they are or where they're at in the lake. Honestly, I haven't been on the lake enough to pick up a good pattern on anything like I usually am this time of year. Usually this time of year, I can drive right to the school of them. Now I kind of got to hunt them down some, which ain't a bad thing. I don't mind hunting them down. It's to me, it's part of fishing experience, chasing them and hunting them, looking for them. Do it. Barbecue Fritos. That was it was in a recipe I seen, and we tried it with something else, but the Fritos were the only ones that it worked with. Try the rivers off Stockton. Yeah, a lot of white bass run up those, especially in the springtime. Most of my fishing, especially in the wintertime, if I think I'm going to get too cold or the conditions are going to get too bad, I will usually go to Palmy because I know most of the places on there where I can get out of the wind to be protected. Okay, so I went clockwise with the thread. It's pretty good, Glenn. If you do too many of them in the pan, it will totally trash your grease. Something about those Fritos, the oil that's already in them is going to mix with that oil that you're cooking with, and like maybe two panfuls of fish fillets, you're going to trash it. It don't last very long. And I think it's got something to do. Now I'm going clockwise with both of them. I was thinking I went counterclockwise with one and counter with the other one. I keep it all going. Yeah, I keep it all going in the same direction. Me and another jig tire was talking about that, and he did his one way and then did the Chanel and stuff the other way. But everybody's got the way of time as long as it stays together. Love using Louisiana beer batter. It's really good with speckled trout. I've never ate a speckled trout. Never ate one. I don't believe I would vertical jig these. If I did, it would be the trailer on the main jig, which we've done this before where we would take an 1/8 ounce jig head, put it down here, and then run this, like we had these little bitty flies I tied on hooks. I just took I think it was like a number 4 gold Aberdeen hook, tied some feathers on it, a little bit of Chanel, and just run like 10 inches of line off that line where that 1/8 ounce jig head was, and then just let that feather float around back behind it. I would probably do that with this too if I was fishing it. If I was crappie fishing it deep, vertical jigging. But I really think if I was using this, I would probably have it on a small slip float. I don't even know if I would do it with a slip float. I would probably just do it with a regular float and just twitch it back real slow is what I would do with these. Double rigged, I still don't think it's going to sink very fast even if you double rigged it. If you put another one of these up above it, I still don't think you're going to be sinking very fast at all. And be dead honest with you, I don't know if I got the patience to let this little thing sink to the bottom. I was tying them for just kind of a reference for some of the stuff I do and can do, and that's pretty much it. Just kind of a miniature version of a what I would call a normal size jig. There is a difference. It don't look it on that screen. That jig looks bigger than what I think it actually is. Because that thing's tiny, but it looks bigger than what it does. Not really sure why. But it kind of does. I think I'm going to wrap it up. That's 41 minutes. I wish it hadn't started out like that. I didn't really care for the way it started out. I know that. Tie 1/8 ounce. Yeah, it'll hit the bottom for sure. It ain't going to take much to pull that one down to the bottom. Metal bears give me time. I'll tie a few jigs. Otherwise, I use worms. Yeah, and bluegill fishing. If we go bluegill fishing, I usually what I do too. I usually stop somewhere and get some worms and something me and Zach would use we'd use night crawlers and pinch off little pieces of night crawlers. Randy, are you going to be wanting them out of jig heads this small, or are you going to want to go a little bit bigger than this? Next one comes up, it'll be a little bit better than that. I don't think I'm going to load that internet up for quite as long as what I did. I think I'll just give a notification. I'm going to go live at 7, and then boom, pop up live at 7. I think it's probably what I'll do from now on. I had so many people pop up on that other one that were commenting on it. They're probably like, well, this guy's live, but he's only live for 2 minutes and he ain't talking. So I apologize for anybody that got hung up on that live feed. About the same. And we can do that. We'll throw in a few extra ones too. Those 64s with the gold hook are pretty cool, and those gold hooks did pretty good straightening out when they got hung up. I kind of like those little 64th ounce ones Jason got me. They were just, super, super little. I thought I had a bag of them right there. Just, 64th ounce jig. Not much to it, but they were probably going to be a little bit easier to cast than these little fellers are. But I don't know if you're doing like a Richard Jean, the fishing machine kind of thing, and you're using 2 or 1 pound fishing line. I don't think you'd probably have much of a problem casting that out, but I would put it on a little float, 4 pound line, and I would just twitch it back to the boat. We were watching the master like a hawk, LOL. Nah, I don't know about the master. Like I said, I'm doing the podcast at the radio station tomorrow after I get off work. I'm going to do the crappie connection, weather permitting, February 3rd. I was going to go down there and do it on the 2nd, but I can't make it down there on the 2nd. So it'll be February 3rd when I go down there. We'll be down at Crothersville, Missouri at the Grizzly Jig Show. I'm sure if anybody on here is going to go, I'm sure I'll have a pocket full of jigs to be given away. So watch for me. And I'll keep giving a notice on that each time I go live, letting everybody know how windy it's going to be. But that is all I got for now. But I'm interested in learning. You know, I didn't use feather jigs for a long time, but then when I did start using them, there was days where it seemed like they worked better, and then there was days where it seemed like plastic worked better. Jason was fishing today, and he said that he caught a few on feather jigs, and they kind of shut down, and he went back to the plastics and started catching out a few more. No, I can't jam out like that no more, Frito. All those that full solid year of tying jigs and listening to Metallica and Merle Haggard and Waylon Jennings in the background, all got copyright infringement, meaning that there was no way ever I could make any money off any of those videos. And I did realize how bad I was hurting myself by doing that. But honestly, at the time, I thought, well, if they're going to let it stay up there, I'm just going to keep doing it. But when I'm not live on YouTube or I'm not doing a YouTube video, music is just blaring away in the background every time. What's your opinion on foxtails for jigs? I think they work good in really small jigs. Actually, I should have got some of that foxtail out while I was doing these super small ones. They work really, really good with that. Small 64, 30 seconds, 1/100th of an ounce. The way that material comes off that tail, it just seems to me like it works so much better in a small jig. Somebody else might know a better way or have a better way that tail's been tanned to maybe be able to get longer strands off of it. But the tails I got, I can't get the right amount of material off of. The squirrel tail jigs, I just tied one of those up a few minutes ago. I love the squirrel tail jigs. There's something about they just kind of got a natural look to them. And I've got a pretty good following on people who buy those squirrel tail jigs off of me. It ties good. It looks good. It's neat. And if you got the right tail at the right time of year when it's got all that white around the end of it, makes a really good looking jig that really does work. There's no myth about using the squirrel tail jigs. To me, they will outproduce a lot of other materials. And I don't know if it's I don't want to say and maybe it is, maybe it's a smell, maybe it's got a taste to it, maybe there's something about it that makes them. But a lot of times the squirrel tail jig will outproduce one with hackle feathers. Yeah, save them. I've got all those, and there's plenty of good tying material on those tails all the way up to the tips of them. I mean, you can get a lot of jigs. You can get a whole lot of jigs off of a squirrel tail, a lot more than what you think. Deer season over, so walking Wiz, give me a few squirrels. Yeah, we was going to go squirrel hunting the other day and end up not going for whatever reason. I'm not sure how much squirrel season we got left, but I'm definitely going to get out, and I need some red ones. Frito says, love the Lund back there. Nope. Tracker. Couldn't afford a Lund. Love the Lund boats, but I didn't want to pay that for it, and it was going to take me, at the time, it was going to take me, I think they said 18 months to get a Lund. It was going to take almost, at that time, and I was going after a Sea Arc. I was going to get the Sea Arc Protege, and the Sea Arc Protege was 2 years out when I ordered it. Tracker, they told me 6 months. I ended up getting it in 12 or 11. I got it in 11 months. It took me 11 months to get it in. Kansas has bright red squirrels. Yeah, it's a sweet ride. It is absolutely the best boat that I've ever owned, for sure, without a doubt. I love it. I love the way it's laid out. I love the way it rides. Squirrel tails work best on 16 to 32nd ounce jig weight. I think the hair balances out better on a small jig. because with that squirrel tail, it wants to lay so flat. So the more you cut off, the more it don't want to puff out. Uh, I know it kind of looks like it does there, but it don't when you tie it. It don't tie in very good proportion on anything bigger than a 32nd. I've tied them in 16ths. I've tied them in 8ths. I've sold them in all those weights, but I think they look the best in 32nds and down. Took me 7 months on my low in 2020. Yeah, that one's a 2022. And it was kind of ordered it kind of like right at the end of the COVID deal where nobody had employees working for them. Things were stuck on barges out in the middle of the ocean. And that's what took so long to get here was I think they told me the passenger side console was on a barge. And that's what was taking so long to get it. But it showed up. The last time I had called about it, it was going to take a while to get it. I was still looking at a couple, 2 or 3 months. And then like a couple weeks later, I called back and they were like, yeah, hey, your boat's ready. So it was kind of one of those surprise kind of things. I wasn't expecting it when I did get it and was extremely happy when I did get it. But it's a good riding boat. My favorite thing about it is especially this time of year is that windshield. Being able to pull that center windshield shut and kind of fishing off the back of the boat and having that windshield block you is priceless. Different ways to lay down my feathers. I guess there are just so many ways, but to me, you're right. I think you're right. Every single cut on your feathers lay different. Marabou will lay different than hackle, and depending on all your feathers have got a curvature to them. Most of them do. And most of those feathers have got a curve to it. And, a lot of people keep that curve together. But if you turn them, back to back and come up with, where they kind of V out, you can V them out this way. You can V them out that way. So you can make them look all just a little bit different. Scott Hudson, yes, you do know where that material came from. I got enough squirrel tails to last me until I probably can't tie anymore, to tell you the truth. There's a lot of tails in that box. I don't see me running out of those. Everything kind of shut down there for a while. Nobody was buying anything. A lot of the other guys that do this were telling me the same thing. Their business had just kind of fell off, and it kind of does every year. Sometime around July, it's just a little bit here or there, and it gets spotty, and then sometime around Thanksgiving, Christmas, it starts kind of picking back up, and it kind of has. It's starting to pick back up, but there's no way I can take orders like I used to. I don't know how my schedule's all going to work out, if I can keep up with them or not. And I hate getting an order of jigs and thinking, okay, it'll be done in 3 days, and then I got to call somebody, hey, it's going to take me a little bit longer. I hate doing that to people. Marabou's a little challenge sometimes, but great action in water. Yeah, it's got great action in water. When I first started tying, I did not like tying with marabou. I couldn't stand all that floating around, getting your nose and stuff. But there's kind of a way to tame some of it. Pull it off feather at a time, and I usually run my finger down it and get off what I want to use and then just cut it. About the same amount. Scott, I will look around. I will find you somebody that will buy those squirrel tails off of you. But I promise you, that's just one. I'm pretty sure I'm still working on bag number 1. I got a whole drawer. I got a whole drawer full of squirrel tails. Anybody's looking at a towel with squirrel tails, there's your man right there. He's got it all bagged up, ready to go. And I'm going to call that quits for tonight. That's 54 minutes. Apologize about how it started. Next one, we'll try a little bit different. Actually, I might try doing probably not. I might end up doing my GoPro cameras. I got them all kind of charged up and set back up, ready to go again. We might try to start doing live streams on it and see how it works out. But if you haven't yet, hit that like button, share the videos, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Y'all have a good evening, and I will see you again. Keep your eye open. I might end up going live again sometime this weekend. We'll see you guys. Thank y'all for watching.